Hey, Amber Vilhauer here, and during today's Fast Track video, I want to answer a question from a community member, Ben, who asks a question about book launches and marketing. Specifically, he asks, what do I do if my book has already been released? Can my book still see success? And the answer is yes, Ben. You can still see success with your book title even if it's already been previously released. So let's go through a couple of scenarios. It's not uncommon for the average author to have sold maybe a few thousand copies of their book in the lifetime of that title. Now, only you can decide if that's something that you're happy with or not. I know that a lot of authors that I work with specifically have poured a lot of time, money, and energy into developing that book just for it to not sell as quickly as the author would have liked. Now, there are several contributing factors for that, which we talk about in past videos, but usually an author just doesn't have enough runway to promote that book. So usually they're waiting until the book is released before they start marketing the book launch. And oftentimes we just kind of get a little shy about it. I mean, let's be honest, if you're an author, the joy that you have is in authoring that book. Most authors don't have a lot of joy when it comes to marketing and selling their book. But the reality is that you have a methodology, you have a message to get out to the world, so let's do it. Even if you had previously released that book title, you can still re-release it and continue to do little micro launches to promote book sales. So for example, something that I would recommend you do, Ben, is sit down and have a consult strategy session with myself or another book strategist. And basically what we're trying to figure out is, first of all, what are your goals? Because every author is going to have a different set of goals. Now, if you have any interest in writing a subsequent book, if you have any interest in getting picked up by a traditional book publisher, then you need to sell a minimum of 10,000 copies of that book. If your book is more of just a calling card and you want to get it out there in as many hands as possible, you'll have to sit and really think about, well, what do I want out of this book? Do I want to be an Amazon bestseller? Do I care if I'm a #1 bestseller? Do I want to go for the big dog like the New York Times and Wall Street Journal bestseller? Do I want to leverage this to support a documentary? What do I want out of this? And I know that those are really big questions to ask, but when I sit down with a new client, we're trying to determine their book marketing and launch plan, I have to know the goals that we're going after. I also have to know their timeline, because more often than not, an author will come to me and they'll say, I need to sell X amount of copies or hit this goal in 2 months or 4 months. And guys, that's just not enough time to really make significant progress, especially online. I mean, you're entering into a really competitive market space. Now, there are plenty of other book launch directors and coordinators that will say, oh yeah, sure, no worries, we can hit that. I have probably maybe a unique approach where I really want to make sure that your business is set up for success. I want to make sure that you are of the right mindset, that we're properly leveraging this book, that we're getting your team involved, that you have the proper systems and strategy in place to really leverage this book into something even more powerful. So I'm going to really dig in and ask some of the tougher questions than maybe some of the other experts out there. There's no right or wrong path. This is just what I do. So I encourage you to first think about your goals. Secondly, think about your timeline. In a perfect world, you'd have at least 6 months before the next launch of your book, whether it's your first or your second or third or fourth launch of the same title. You want at least 6 months, because usually when I start working with somebody, we have to come in and correct a lot of the marketing issues that the business owner and author is currently facing. So I need a little bit of time to come in and correct some of the marketing challenges and set you off on a new, clean, clear path for the future ahead. Now, this marketing and launch plan is going to support you beyond just the launch of this next book. So this is something that I like to set in motion for my clients for the long, long term. Okay, so anything else that you decide to launch on top of this, like a podcast or a speaking career or a new premium group coaching program, it just continues to build momentum so you can scale, as opposed to most launches, you sort of start all over with each launch. And that's not an effective way to manage your business. Once we have the timeline figured out and the goals figured out, then we can actually map out your marketing plan for that launch. So Ben, absolutely, you could launch your book multiple times. In fact, I can think of a past client in the health and wellness industry, and she had hired somebody who promised her #1 bestseller using a popular Amazon Kindle book launch process, and it fell flat. It didn't even come close to helping her hit #1. So I asked for 4 months for an accelerated launch plan, and we went about creating a custom launch plan for her, and within the 4-month goal we did hit #1, and she was able to leverage the success from that book to propel her into her next book, and it dramatically helped to grow her following and support a monetization launch of a premium coaching program that she had for book buyers. So there's a lot that we can do, and even inside of 4 to 6 months. But Ben, to answer your question, yes, you can absolutely launch this book as many times as you want to until you hit the results that you want, and then just keep that momentum growing and building so that it can support your future goals. If you found this video to be helpful, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay notified when future videos like this become available. And if you are an author or a candidate for our book launch services, I encourage you to pop over to ambervilhauer.com and learn about the book marketing and launch services that we have available to support your needs. And until the next video, just remember, no guts, no glory. Thanks a lot.